party can begin.
So for everyone at home, I want you to know, Masumi, come on over here. So my sister-in-law Masumi is here, and she did the arrangement of the flowers that we'll be painting today. But I'd like her to explain how she came to do the class and any of the details.
So did you happen to choose this for today, or
because I had chosen it to do sometime this winter. And then as we got close to and then you guys were coming, I thought, let's just do it the day you're here. I mean, we could have done it last week, but so right up here.
So this is the New Year's decoration for the flower arrangement. It's New Year in Japan is January the 1st, as you know, not in February. And you can see the kanji, the Chinese characters, in this arrangement. It's welcoming spring. So the first character means welcoming, and then the second character means spring.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's a typical greeting word for the New Year's Day in Japan.
Oh, nice.
And also another thing that if you can see the red, how would you call this red?
The berries?
The
berries.
So it looks like berries. This is particularly important part of the flower arrangement for the New Year's. Let me see. I just looked it up. It is called the glabrous Sakandra herb.
Whoa.
And I don't know if you're familiar with this, but anyway, it's almost always used for the flower arrangement for New Year. And also you can see the pine tree, and that's also something typically used for the New Year. And then someone was asking me about the crane.
Yeah, the crane up there?
Yeah, crane. So crane in Japan brings the happiness and lucky situation. So that's why my teacher decided to put the crane as part of the arrangement. Origami, yes, it's origami. Yeah.
And hence the gold, the beautiful gold, right?
Yeah. It's a gold origami, right?
Did you make the crane itself?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyone in Japan can make it.
That's right.
Another thing, you can see the yellow flower, and that's a kind of a chrysanthemum.
Yeah.
And chrysanthemum is very important flowers, I guess, in Japan. It's a symbolic flowers in Japan. And also you can see the carnation, the pink carnation, and these how do you call those?
Oh, the pussy willows or the sticks?
The sticks you can see kind of going around. That's Himemizuki, the Mentha japonica. I looked them up in English words, but I don't think you're familiar.
No.
But anyway, so these are used a lot.
That's what I love about this, is that they go out in all directions.
And also the white one in the middle is botan in Japanese.
Okay.
And peony.
Peony. Oh, here we go with our peony. There we go. We did peonies earlier this week.
It's a little peony.
Yeah, it's different than the ones we did, right?
It's a peanut.
Yeah.
I thought it was a rose.
And what about the canvas bag that it's in? Is that?
Which one? This one?
Yeah.
It looks like it's a typical symbolic gift.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is a bag or canvas. It's not ceramic.
How do you call like a green thing that you can pour in the water and then it's called oasis? Oasis?
Yeah.
Oasis. Yeah, we call them oasis in Japanese too. So we use this for the flower arrangement. It's not the ikebana, which is a very traditional Japanese flower arrangement. I've learned it for quite a few years, but this is something kind of new for me.
Okay.
So for the ikebana, the traditional historical flower arrangement in Japan, we do not use the oasis.
Yes.
We have different things to do it.
To prop them up.
It's stunning.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful. And you did this in a class, or did you do it at home?
I did this in class.
Okay,
and then I brought it home and then I took the pictures.
Oh, okay, great.
So this was actually done about a year ago, right before the New Year in 2022.
Okay.
Yeah, I did something different this year again.
Okay, all right. Good.
Yeah, I really enjoy this. It's just very pretty, and my teacher is my high school friend. And we got together. I was in Japan for 5 years, and I really enjoyed seeing my old friends, and she was one of them. And then she put together the lessons about 4 times a year, and one of them is Halloween.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why, but anyway.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you, Masumi, very much. Very much. All right, great.
Thank you.
So we have a nice exuberant flower arrangement. Now we get a little bit of history and the stories behind it, which is kind of informs us. And I find when I'm outdoors painting somewhere, and a farmer comes by and asks me what I'm doing because he thinks I'm a surveyor or something, and then he'll tell me about his property or his grandfather that owned it, and I used to own all those fields. And as you hear the stories, then when the farmer goes up, when you go on to paint, you're kind of informed. You sort of feel like you've connected with it, and you are telling a story while you do the painting. So I hope this is that Masumi's comments will help you understand welcoming spring is. Now I hope we can spell it correctly when we try to paint these characters in there, right? So. So I love the exuberance, and obviously kind of a novel, an arrangement that we don't typically see, which is so lovely. I hope everyone has put out fresh paint. If you go a week and you try to reuse last week's paint, it's going to be gummy. It's going to be like hard toothpaste. So please, make life easy for yourself. Put out fresh colors, as I've done. Sometimes I have to scrape out the old color because it's getting kind of gummy, but make sure you have some good fresh color at least on top.
You can wash your tray?
Yes, so if I'm going to put away my paints for a long time, I will wash it right out, and use a scrubby brush to get all the stuff. But as we're working week to week, I'm not going to clean it out. Well, the other thing is when you try to clean these palettes out, you hit those wells and stuff sprays.
Oh yeah.
All right, so our big question is, what are we doing with the background?
That's what I was thinking of too. When it was...
Like, do we leave it white and everything else is color in the middle? Or do we put, there's sort of a textured wall back there, there's some shadows?
What about a really pale lavender?
So how about a pale lavender? All right,
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
I'm going to do what I've done with you guys, and I've got a little spray bottle which I may or may not use, so it may be cheating, but I'm bringing in a prop. So I'm going to decide that in order to make the flowers, and particularly that white peony in the background, in the middle, to make something white look brighter, I need to make the background darker.
Yeah.
So that the only white will be in the peony and maybe that rope or something. So I'm going to paint. And you hate this stuff, but I'm just going to paint water, and I'm going to go around this. I'm going to go around this stand, or what do we call it?
Gotcha.
I'm going right through all these leaves. I'm not hitting those red berries. I think I'm going to. And if I go over green leaves, that's not a big deal because they're going to be darker than whatever the background is.
Plain water, right?
Plain water. Oop, and I try not to go into the
Is he going
basket.
are you going into the pot?
No, I decided not
And you're
to.
not going into the table?
No, I decided to go around that. Because later when I paint the table, I don't want, I could paint, I didn't really think that out. Okay, so I want to keep this loose, but I want it to fade to white at the top. So this is going to be a little tricky. So I'm going to grab a little bit of cerulean blue. Doug, what'd you say? Sort of a lavendery kind of thing? Emil said that? Okay, I'm going to get a little bit of the permanent rose. John, if you want to come up here and look over my shoulder, come on. And then I'm going to, it's a little too purpley for me right there. So I'm going to take a little bit of the yellow, raw sienna, sorry. And see, notice how I put it on, and if I put it on, I like it, then I'll go, okay, let's get some more of it. Okay, so here we go, keeping it loose, kind of moving quickly too, and on the screen it's going to look darker than it really is. And Judy, what'd you say on the left side? It looks a little darker on that side?
Yes. Because it's shadow.
Okay, so. But we could do the shadow itself separately near the end of the show, huh? So let me get a little bit more of this. I'm trying not to go around those red berries. All right, let's get a little more blue over
And
here.
you don't worry about that you're covering up where you're gonna have green leaves.
No, because the green's gonna be darker than. Okay, so now
It's more saturated.
I want this. Take you guys in the classroom. Take a look. At home, I'm unpeeling this thing off the desk, and I'm turning it around,
Yeah,
and I'm just gonna paint clear.
and bleed it.
Oh shoot! I had red on my sponge, so.
Paper towel, paper towel.
Oh well, that's all right.
That's good luck.
Yeah, there we go. So I take my spray. I'm going to take my spray.
You sprayed the bottom.
I'm spraying what is now the bottom of the paper.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
And what I don't want is a line.
Make it run.
You know, I don't
Not
want.
blended. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want a lump. Masumi, see, now I'm nervous.
Oh, you've known us for so
Someone
many
as talented
weeks.
as you, Matt, don't worry.
See, I keep dabbing on a sponge that has color all over it. Okay, so this is pure water. And I'm just, God, I still have a lot of color in there. Now I'm getting almost to nothing. Right, it's just,
Yeah.
there's not much. And I'm gonna go around that little, so, and I don't want to paint that crane because I don't want any, I just want the yellow in it. Okay, so I basically, now if this were a landscape painting, you know, it'd be blue at the top and it would be fading to yellow at the horizon. So it's kind of, I've done the opposite. Okay, off you go. I'll let you paint for a little bit. and you know, you don't have to decide, you know, you don't have to agree that it needs to be lavender. I mean, it can be any of 3 colors. We learned grays last week, so it could be any 3 colors.
And broken color.
And broken color and all that kind of stuff, yeah.
Ned, is this a little too slanted for this to do this? Am I gonna run?
You are pretty slanted.
So I think I need to think.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I can dry it off with the towel.
This is a good time for me to stop because this thing is soaked. I mean, I gotta let it dry.
You gave it a good spritz.
Yeah, I sure did.
All right, here we go.
Be careful, it is.
Well,
And Maria, even on the screen, the white paper looks gray, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it was interesting you pointed out how much darker it looks on the screen.
Yeah.
well, that screen, that's why I'm shooting with the iPhone.
Yeah,
Because the iPhone is accurate.
right.
Okay, I'm putting my thing back. Because I got eraser shavings jumping onto this. Ugh.
It kills Ned when people are like, oh, is painting relaxing? He's like, they're not relaxing.
Oh, it must be nice to have that talent. It's so relaxing.
Yes, Ellen can tell you all about it.
Right, Ellen.
That's what I said to someone too, Maria. I said, no, it's not that relaxing.
Yeah. That's just.
So I was outside plein-airing and she came to this lady who had my ear. I'm like, oh my God.
All right, so now, you know, the thing is soaking wet, so the only thing we can do is some of the center flowers that are not wet. So those yellow ones, the pink ones. We've got these red berries. All right. And then that crane. Okay, well, okay, let's see what we do. I'm going to do permanent rose for that pink. It sort of looks like a carnation. And let's just see. Obviously, I'm going to paint the shadow colors of this flower, but right now the whole thing is going to be a big blob of pink with maybe an irregular edge, so it's not like a circle. There we go. All right. I'll leave it. And then I'm going to go right into the yellows. What am I going to use here for yellows? I think I'm going to use the new gamboge. Pretty strong yellow. There we go. Bright sun. Sunny side up egg kind of thing. Okay, I can go like that. And I've got some yellow up. A couple of yellow pieces there. I've got a yellow flower down here. Again, I'm just dropping this stuff in here.
I mean, that's too.
While the yellow is wet, I'm going to drop in a little bit at the bottom, a little bit of cerulean, so I'm blending the green underneath the blossom into the flower. Give me a little something there. There's a little. You know, do I have to do every flower that's in the picture? Do I? I guess I'll put a yellow one over here. Isn't there one over there? Yeah, right next to right next to that little tag. I'm going to put a cerulean at the bottom of it. Oh, and there's another little piece somewhere here. All right, now what are we doing? Am I going to do that crane? Is that, yeah, I can do the crane. What color is that crane? Oh, I'm going to use the aureole one, I think. It seemed a little lighter.
Really?
Well, I'm going to put some darks into it, but. I'm hoping this doesn't bleed. No, I think it'll be okay. Masumi, did you make that crane? Oh yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Why'd you ask?
Why? What a silly question.
That was amazing.
You know, right. And then now the peony, obviously it's going to stay white, and so a little bit of blush of pink in there, and then some of the shadow colors in these petals, which I have a little bit of pink and a little bit of blue. That's that. Circle there. What's going on at the door there? Okay, so I'm not doing a whole lot in here. Okay, I'm gonna little bit of bright pink right in the center. I don't know if I can. Yeah, that works. And then I've got these sort of. These carnation. Are those carnations down there?
I think so.
Okay, they're kind of yellowy. They're really just off of white. More yellow, whatever. That's just a funny color, isn't it?
It is a funny color.
It is a fun. It's in the greenish family. And, I'm gonna just do the whole damn thing. Rather than do petals and stuff, I'm just gonna paint the whole thing. And another one over here, and I'll put some shadow colors in there afterwards. And then the last thing I'm going to do is the berries, and that's just going to be the. They're pretty bright. I mean, just bright. Windsor red.
Windsor red.
Yeah, maybe a touch of alizarin, so it's okay. And then I'm gonna blop them in as all one big irregular shape. So. Not dot, 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 but just kind of,
you know. Go back and put shadows later.
And then we'll do shadows later. Okay. Yeah. So I want to keep an irregular edge on these things.
Nice.
Put another one over there. Yeah, I'm not counting them at this point, right? Okay, I did those flowers, I did that, the crane. Yeah, while the crane is still a little bit wet, I'm going to, the darker part of the crane, a little raw sienna up there. Okay, so I've added little accents.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do some flowers. It's not, there's not a lot of it. Oh, there are a couple little crane things, berries over here.
Right.
Wow. Okay. Okay, leave it
What's
there.
your plan later for that pink flower?
This one,
Yeah.
I'll put in the darker pink in the center, in the shadow.
Not while it's wet.
No, I think I want to keep some edges in there.
Okay.
Good question, though. Yeah.
So I have a question on the peony, that central peony.
Yeah.
Since you always seem to go from light to dark.
Yeah. Hold it, Laurie.
You made the dark edges first.
I did the dark edge. Yeah, because the white ones I'm leaving the white of the paper, at least for now. The white peony in the center?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've left it mostly white and put a little bit of accents where I sort of see shadows.
So what is the color you used on the peony?
Bye, you guys. Have a great week.
See you. Take care.
My pleasure.
I used a permanent rose and the cerulean to get an off-white. Yeah.
Okay.
But you could, you guys have all done those 3 color things. You could, you pick any couple of colors to get a shadow color. And not to interrupt, I'm going to do that tag, but I'm not going to do I'm going to do the whole thing in sort of an off-white where the writing is, just so that it dries now and I don't have to worry about it being wet when so kind of I'm going right over what would be red.
What red are you using?
I'm going back to the permanent rose and cerulean are coming up a lot.
I noticed it's quite.
Okay, let that dry.
That's nice to know.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna paint the white rim on the canvas bag. Again, it's darker than the background, and because I've been using cerulean and permanent rose, I'm starting with those two. There's no sense in jumping to phthalo blue or something. A little bit of the raw sienna to get and I'm just going to paint right through the flower. And this is the edge, the bottom edge of that canvas bag. There it is. One big stroke, and I'll be painting the darker flowers over it, the ones that overlap it. And I happen to put in my drawing a little bit more of the bottom, just figuring there was another stripe down here.
Yeah.
It seemed like the photograph might have cut it off. I couldn't tell.
Well, sienna.
What picture, or what colors did you say you used?
Cerulean, permanent rose, and the little bit of raw sienna.
Could you repeat that?
Yeah, cerulean
Oh, cerulean.
and the permanent rose, that's my red, and then the yellow being the raw sienna. And while I have that color, I don't see that the cord is being absolutely white either, so I'm going to paint the cord with a knot, make it go around the bag. There's the cord, there's a loop, and there's a cord. Okay, so I've done the whites of that, the light part of that one. Now I'm going to do the rush seating over on the right side, and I'm going to do. I see it as kind of a fairly warm color, so I'll use the raw sienna. Let's get a little bit more. And I'm going to paint a little bit darker tone of the same color on the other side.
And how'd you make it darker?
I just added a little bit of blue to it.
Cerulean?
Yeah. How'd you guess, Kathy?
Because the only blue you mentioned.
That's right. That's right. You're seeing that to keep things in harmony, when you get into your grays, just use the colors you've been using.
Right.
And it kind of links everything up. Okay, now because I didn't flood this thing with a lot of color, now I'm going to do the canvas bag, and that's going to be a little alizarin. Let's see how this looks. I don't even know. Cerulean, darken it up. Ugh, that's way awful. Don't like that. A little bit of cadmium red. Let's see how that looks. Oh, there we go. That works better. So it's not a bright red. And you can use any colors you know. If you want to use burnt sienna, go right ahead. And the background is now dry, so it's not bleeding into the background. And I'm going around the knot. This is the little bit of negative painting. I kind of missed some of that. Again, painting around these chords. Okay.
You're painting around the chords?
I am, with the red. Now, does anyone have an opinion on from which direction is the light coming from?
I think it's coming from the right.
I do too. So I'm going to make the left side a little bit darker by just putting a little cerulean blue in there while it's all wet. I hope I don't. And the light side, I'm going to just take some pure water and lift out some color on that side. It's a little bit lighter over there. Oh, and then I got the bag, it's got red way down at the bottom.
Has what?
There's red right, I've drawn in a little red stripe at the bottom, so which isn't in the photograph. And you might not have it, so don't worry. If you don't, it's not a big deal.
It wasn't on your thumbnail.
It was or was not?
It
Was not. That's okay. I have an imagination. I can do it.
Dirty trick, isn't it? No, it wasn't. Yeah, I recorded on the wrong drawing. Or I don't know.
No, you're doing that to screw me up.
Yeah.
You know that I'm going to print it, so you're going to...
Yeah, right. I'll make some changes. All right, is that a break now? That's enough for you for now?
Yeah.
We'll come back with the greens next, and that's going to be a major deal.
Okay.
And we'll save the darks inside the flowers for a later stage. But the greens are going to lock everything in place.
And that alizarin you mixed with what?
I end up putting a little bit of cadmium red and a little cerulean.
I didn't think it was. It's my favorite thing.
Looking at the photograph, I thought the left side looked darker. Because if I look at that yellow flower, you can see that the right side is brighter, the top and the right side. Yeah. Did you do this? I had done that before I did the red. I was doing, when I did that color, I did the red. Well, you let the red dry. You can put that lighter tone in there. Sure. Or you can leave it white. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, if at the end of the painting and the white's still a distraction, then you just put a little tone of wash on it, and there it goes. Okay, I'm ready to start on a little bit of greens. A good time to swap out some water if you, but we haven't, our cups shouldn't be too dirty because we haven't painted a lot of color so far.
Ned, are you leaving the outside of that mat white, or are you going darker?
Like up here?
No, the mat that it's sitting on, or it's
Oh, down here? I'm going to go darker.
I didn't paint that.
Yeah, if I painted that too soon, it would bleed into the light parts. The heck with it. Okay, so now, where are my lightest greens? I sort of see the darkest ones way down at the bottom here, and these fronds coming out as being slightly lighter, right?
The ones on the left are a little darker though.
Yeah, but this one up here is a little bit lighter than the one down below it, right?
Right.
So I may as well, let's do the lighter, and these leaves are overlapping each other, and I'm going to have a lighter leaf nearest us, and the leaf behind it, I'm going to paint a slightly darker color. I've just made that decision. Even though in the picture they almost look like exactly the same, I can't, yeah, okay. So, and I see this kind of as a grayish green. I don't see it as a really bright emerald. So I'm going to dip into my ultramarine, which I haven't used so far, a little bit of raw sienna. And let's see how that looks for a green. This will be the lighter green coming across here. Whoop. I want to keep a nice tip to that thing, so I don't want to end up with a glob of paint way down there. And another one up here. Again, I'm using my brush to create the thickness. As I push down, it's wider. As I begin to lift up, it gets thinner. I get that nice thin little tip. And it's got a little bit lighter underneath here. Try to do it with one stroke, but I couldn't quite do it. Yipes. All right, I'm gonna get into these darks down here. I really got, this whole middle is so nebulous. I've got to get some darks in there, but I got to remember that I want to leave some whites as though I'm looking through. It's like a spider web in there. So I'm going to go ultramarine to get my really dark darks. I'm going to use raw sienna instead of new gamboge, and a little bit of alizarin, which is the opposite of green, which really makes the greens dark. And this will come out okay.
How come you painted that one under the lighter color?
What do you mean? Yeah, this one is sort of a lighter color.
No, the other one. The other
This one?
Nope, the other one.
This
That
one?
That's
Well,
the other side.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
It should be darker. You're right.
all right.
All right, we'll have to fix that later.
So the top one should be lighter than.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Stand corrected.
But you don't win a prize.
All right. Oh boy, wow. Okay. Now this will have, let's try a little bit of new gamboge. Have a little bit of green coming out. Here's some of these leaves that are overlapping my canvas bag. that. We got another leaf. Okay, this color goes right across the bottom of that thing.
You having fun, Judy?
Yes,
Good.
lots of fun.
That's all that matters.
Oh boy. I'm trying just to look at the darks in the slide here. And now I'm going up against that carnation, but this is the space between those two carnations.
Ned,
Yeah.
are you still using just the ultramarine and a little bit of raw sienna?
And I've got a little bit of alizarin in there just to darken it up even more.
Oh, very, very, very. Okay, thank you.
Boy, this is hard.
It's easy for you to say.
Whatever you say.
Okay, and I'm just going to go up a little further here. I want a nice ragged edge on that carnation. I think that this section of green is the hardest part. Just you trying to keep it, vary the colors a little bit so it goes from greenish to bluish to dark reds in there. But then you've got the different edges of the flowers. Some are ragged, some are smooth, like the peony has sort of a smooth edge to it. So when you paint up against that, you want to have, and then you want to keep these little white areas inside there.
Okay, Ned, mine keeps getting muddy.
Okay.
Getting brown. Getting brown.
Yeah, so wash your brush out. So, kind of start all over again with the color. Yeah. And sometimes I'm varying I'm adding a little bit of New Gamboge yellow to instead of the raw sienna, just to vary the greens a little bit. Oh, that's a nice leaf. I like this leaf. This is a good one. Okay, Lori, I'm fixing that leaf that I made. Okay, there's the light side is sticking out. I'm going to do a little bit darker underneath because it's not catching the light. There we go. Okay, this is the background leaf behind these fronds. What are we doing here? Looks pretty good. Okay, I've certainly locked in the middle part. Some of the leaves on the outside I'm going to paint with a little more new Gambo's yellow in them, so they look a little yellowier or fresher. And I'm going to keep painting, but you guys can keep painting too. But we're basically sticking with the yellows or greens. Sorry. This leaf has a little bit of a sawtooth to it. Around the reds.
Hey, Ned.
Yeah.
I'm going to excuse myself.
Okie doke.
I sent you the painting that I did of this last year.
Okay, got it.
I also sent you the one that I did over the weekend of the second arrangement.
Oh, okay, great. And you heard Masumi talk about the flowers earlier, right?
Yeah. That was great.
That was cool.
I actually texted John saying it was great seeing Masumi on the Zoom.
Yeah, right.
Take care, everyone.
Okay, Josh, see you later. What did Masumi say about the pine needles? Did she say something about those?
They're always in traditional men.
Okay.
Now they live in this country or they live in Japan?
They're just coming back from a 3-year stint in Japan.
In Japan.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
He's a tennis pro. I mean, at a very nice club.
Wow.
And they just had he did his last lessons of 40 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
They were in Houston so they were in Japan recently for the last 5 years, but they've been in Houston previous 15 or 20 years, but then way back when they first got married, they were both in Tokyo also.
How did they meet?
His job with the tennis company required that he have a flair for languages. So he was in Guam and he was in Cairo and he knew French and some other stuff. And they assigned him to Japan. Well, he didn't know Japanese. So Masumi was his teacher.
Oh, wow.
And then they got married, had a daughter who's living in New York now. And so they were not around America in the pandemic, though Japan had their own issues there.
Oh, yeah.
But, I said, you're going to find life a lot different in America than when you left here. I think, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
And between that, and I didn't get into it.
It doesn't take a pandemic to do that.
But also the mass shootings are going through and stuff. And they just came from Japan, which is a very, very tranquil and peaceful country.
They also won't put up with the people doing whatever.
Well, what are the gun laws like in Japan?
Well, they don't have any.
A lot stricter,
I mean,
right?
they don't even have them.
They don't even have them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, these machine guns are just despicable.
Dad,
where
I
we
gotta
are.
tell you, I'm really enjoying just sitting here watching you paint.
Okay.
And I have one of those electronic watches, and my heart rate is usually 74. This one
Yeah.
60.
She
So
says,
your platform does a lot of different things for different people.
that's great. That's fun to hear. I hope I'm not putting you to sleep.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Well, that's nice to hear. That's fun. That's kind of fun to hear. There's a train. That'll send your heart rate up. Yeah, so a couple leaves out there. Oh, I've got some greens. I gotta outline this. All right, I'm pausing in those greens, checking to see how many places I want to look through and how many places I want to keep it dense and solid. And making it, yeah. right, that's looking pretty good right now. Okay, so greens, I alternated at times between using the raw sienna for darker greens and the ultramarine, and then sometimes when I saw it as a little lighter, I used the new gamboge, which gives it kind of a more cleaner emeraldy look. So I use those over there and a couple up in the pine needles, I think, just to keep some variety there. So I just varied the two greens with the ultramarine and occasional alizarin just to really punch up the really dark spots. So we have some shadows to put. Eventually, we hit the shadows inside some of those flowers, and obviously the sticks, the pussy willow is going out, and we still have to finish that seat, but that's not a big. Not a big deal. So Bill, I made the grand faux pas when I sent this out.
Mm-hmm.
Both Josh and Barbara say, "Oh, I did that painting last year."
Not this one.
And I said to myself, "I've never painted this painting, man. I didn't." And I said, "No, they had asked for an extra credit picture."
Oh.
And so I sent this one.
I did not ask for an extra credit picture. You just gave it to us.
Is that okay? So I gave it to everybody, but then you and Josh must have been the only ones to do it.
I guess that's right.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably resend it, but I'm doing a different flower arrangement.
Yeah. Yes.
Which I will also send.
Yeah. Great. Well, you guys were the industrious students, for sure.
It's such a beautiful flower arrangement, it was hard to resist.
Yeah.
I have to say, I also did this flower arrangement in whatever earlier extra credit class it was. But I didn't do things like the origami and a few other things.
Okay.
And I'm using a different color palette because I never used cerulean blue until this year.
Okay. All right. You've got a little cerulean blue on your necklace right there.
Yes.
Lovely. But Carol, are you painting on that sketchbook? How are you going to do any of those Chinese or Japanese characters?
Let's see. Well, we'll see about the Japanese characters, but that's kind of where I'm not in my green yet.
Okay, fine. And the Japanese characters at the scale you're working at, you could probably just use a pencil.
Oh, well, I have a number. Let's see, a number 2 brush, so I may give that a try. That's
Okay.
what I use for
Okay.
to get little sharp edges. And,
Yeah.
the last time I just gave up on trying to do the string around the base, so I did it this time. We'll see.
Good for you. Yeah. Okay, so Carol did it too. Mm-hmm.
the stems on the real dark leaf brownish? Are they like leafy stems?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, what happened? Nice and fresh. Yeah. You may want to hit some of these down here.
Yeah.
And have a little bit darker.
I agree.
And with, I did a bigger brush, just
Yeah.
so you're not getting too fine. Just
Okay.
kind of squint your eyes at it and say, okay, I just see dark all the way around there or around
Here
there.
too.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, squint your eyes at the photograph, and it'll help you see the values better. When you squint your eyes, you start to see more and more in black and white. So
Definitely.
then you look and say, okay, what's the shape of those?
Does that go with almost a lot of photographs? I mean,
Across the board.
Yeah.
You're outside and you squint, you start to
Yeah.
lose the color, but you still get darker.
Darks and lights.
Oh, that's right about you next. That's good. That's good.
I just wanted to give it a pun while I'm here. I gotta do little dissy things. But I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Just want to get a little lighter.
All right, I'm going to go in and start to darken the darker sides of this yellow flower. So the darks, like these flowers are all looking flat. They're just like pasted. So, and even the berries, I need to put little accents of dark on the shadow sides of them. So I really want to squint my eyes to look how dark that dark yellow is on that big, what is that? Is it what is that yellow flower? It's
She said it was a
She said it was
carnation.
carnation, chrysanthemum, I think.
Yeah, she said it's
That's
like
right.
a mini chrysanthemum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so too.
Carnation is like the greenish one.
Yeah, that's the green. Yeah.
So I'm trying to see what color that looks to be. It's certainly not as dark as the greens, but it is fairly dark. jagged edge to it. Okay, a little. Don't forget to wipe down your palette. God, sometimes you get greens going in there. And yeah, you're ready to paint a pink flower, you get green all over your palette. That's not going to work. And you'll never get a nice color. Okay, so this is going to be the dark areas in that red flower. Pinky red flower. Okay, so I see a little dark in here. Dark around there. Dark inside there.
What are you using for that?
Cerulean and the permanent rose. It's really hard to find the shadow shapes in this picture.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it's not that it really hasn't.
When did you put the pine needles in?
I did.
Okay.
When we weren't watching.
Oh no, yeah, well,
It's watching.
yeah,
Okay. Snuck them in there, did you?
yeah.
Just test to see how much you pay attention.
Doesn't take testing.
Okay, there's that. Now the okay, little bit of accent inside there. Ooh, tough color, tough shapes. Really, these shapes in here are really tricky.
Yeah, they are.
You know, and then look at this big flat piece here. I'm just going to create a little. I just got to squint and see that. At the outside, it's fairly light. On the inside, it's dark.
Oh, you ran in to see the Hopper show, right?
I did. Fascinating to see the drawings, the pencil drawings he did out at Blackwell's Island and other places, and then to see the painting on another wall of the finished product. It's like, wow, he really...
Sorry.
Oh, it's Christmas time.
Christmas.
Bing bong. Big Ben.
Yeah.
But Bill, it
It
is...
goes to Christmas past or future?
So Bill, in his drawings, black and white drawings, he would have the drawing, and then he would write in there, pale pale yellow
Oh,
or
wow.
tan.
Like you took.
Yeah, like
Wow.
so. That's because
Oh, he hadn't painted them yet.
no. So he's got this black and white sketch, and he's going back into a studio. But he wants to remember that the inside of the bridge stanchion picks up some light from the water that's reflected up. So he
Oh,
would
he
say.
marked it like that.
So he marked it like that, and he goes,
Like notes?
yeah, like in the sky, he'd say pale pink over here or something like that. It was like, wow, that's so, that's just inside the mind of the artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then to turn around on the other side of the room and just see the painting itself. It's like, wow, that's so cool.
Where was it at, the Met or?
The Whitney has his show.
And it's going to be ending soon, too.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're talking about maybe extending it. But yeah, it ends in March.
Oh.
Now, was he a oil painter or watercolor?
Both.
Oh, both.
What
Was he most known for?
Going to the Whitney on Wednesday, and I might be a little late for
Oh,
5 o'clock.
oh and yeah, no problem there. Check out his watercolors. There's a wall of them that's just spectacular.
Okay, I'm going to go on the tour. There's a 1 o'clock tour.
Okay, great.
Oh.
Well, then you can tell that lady a thing or two about watercolors. Okay, just hippity-hoppiting around these berries. I'm not trying to outline each one, but I'm trying to hint at the fact that there's a shadow side to some of them.
What color are you using there?
Well, it's just two reds, I guess. The alizarin and the cadmium. Now I'm doing that red edge on the Welcome Spring sign. Ooh.
Oh, you're doing the lettering? Wow. That's something.
And now I'm going to do the sticks. I'll do these branches.
Oh.
So it's going to be a little bit of, and that will pretty much, well, I got to do that.
The border on the table?
The border on the table, but that's a big deal. Okay, so raw sienna, alizarin, and the cerulean. Let's see how that looks. Okay, there we go. That's pretty good. And notice that these branches shift direction when you hit these little nubules. They kind of go straight for a while, and then they have a little knob, and then they angle off in a different direction. Whoa, isn't that lovely? Who brought the harp?
Jill? I'm in the middle of my art class.
How dare you?
Well, strum one more time. We
As
like
soon as
to.
our class is over, then I'm gonna call Gordon. If there's a problem, I'll let you know, but otherwise, I'm assuming we're there at 1. 2 rather. What did we say, 2? Yeah, 2. Okay, fine.
Is that Gordon Douglas?
Yeah.
Great.
We were dedicating a preserve to him.
And where is that one?
It's up, where the places that sells old bed frames up on Tony T?
Yeah.
It's across the railroad tracks now. It goes right up the side of the,
Mountain there?
next to the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah, yeah. And there's the preserve on his property too, right?
Oh, yeah. He's been incredible.
I used to take my student classes at TP out to his place to draw, you know, the pond there. And
Yeah, we do the plein air painting for frogs there.
great place to paint, huh?
That's, yeah.
It's kind of just like made for. All right, I don't want to have all these sticks be exactly the same color, so sometimes I add a little more cerulean to the stick.
That's interesting.
Is this one going to go right over this? Yeah, it does. It goes right over this. And it's usually best to go along the stick, and then as you get toward the end, you're lifting your brush up so it gets thinner. Don't start from the outside and come in, because you may get a big blob of paint at the end of the branch, and it'll look like a bird sitting up there or something, and you'd be really angry. So start at the bottom of the branch and go out, and when you get to the end, start to lift your brush up, and you'll get a nice tip. Now I'm seeing little hints of little pussy willow buds on the ends of some of these. Just putting a little bit of cerulean blue or a little bit of something out there. Well, how are we doing here?
We're doing branches.
What's Gordon's wife's name? Jean, right? Judy? Jean, Gordon's wife is Jean?
Yeah. She's quite an artist.
Yeah. He showed me her studio one time. It's quite a spot.
Yeah, they have a studio on their property. Up in the back.
Yeah, oh yeah, I've been up there. Wow. Okay, we're in the home stretch. I'm going to do the back edge of the seat. Let's see, kind of a raw sienna. Very pale blonde out here. Let's get it a little bit darker. And at the corner, it makes a diagonal line. You'll see the seam there. And on the other, yeah, I added a little raw sienna and I guess some cerulean or some red. Oops. Okay, now I'm trying to get a little more of a brownish, more brownier blue. I mean, a brown on the other side. But still keeping it on the light side. Now, are we seeing a shadow on that seat on the left side there?
Judy was.
Judy saw it. I definitely, yeah, this side is definitely darker. And are we seeing shadows on the lower right side, left side, on the wall? Ooh, right? So, I guess I'm gonna pull this down and this will kill some of these whites.
Just gotta think about these whites, you know? Those are highlights.
And then I'm going to paint this whole thing. It's going to be a little bit darker.
Gorgeous. Don't want to go to his head.
I'm not surprised he's already.
He's so bad. It's so bad, Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Bill could be a comedian.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
He could be a comedian, I think.
No.
If he doesn't make it as an artist.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, as my third grade teacher used to think.
All right, I kind of like that. Maybe I'll put it more down here. Oh, it's a little bit darker right under here. Now, take a look here. I don't know. Take a look at the screen or look at me.
Nice.
I kind of like it. It's got some dark. It's got the, but there's something. It's not. There's no. I'm gonna do one of my tricks, and you can take it or leave it. I want to create a little bit more exuberance.
Texture in the back.
I'm going out from the flower. So, and then maybe I take a little bit of the yellow.
To make it look like this.
I don't know. I just want to make it just a little bit more.
Yeah.
He's just been wanting to do it for a few days.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's awesome.
You know, and just get a little bit of that. It breaks. Ooh, I gotta turn this thing around.
The background.
Oh, I can't do this back.
Nice. Oh wow.
Get right
It's the
back
flatness
here.
of the background, right?
Yeah, get a little more blue in it. you can really mess things up at this point too. But there's some blue. Good. Like that. And if I have some spots where I don't really want them, I can touch it up inside the plants and flowers. But I kind of just want to get a little of the zip, maybe a little bit of yellow near the top where that crane is. And we'll leave it at that. I sort of think the red canvas bag could be a little darker, but I don't want to do it now. Or should I? Maybe I will. So that's basically instruction-wise. That's where we're done. I could put a little bit of dark on the dark sides of these stems.
It's kind of like golf.
Right. Really tedious when you have to go back to paint over something. What happened? Which means we didn't paint it dark enough at the beginning, but and here I thought this one was going to end so early and we go out to lunch together or something, but all right. Okay. If you do any of that splattering, make sure your neighbor knows you're going to do it. You don't want to get your red on their green or something. Always good to squint at your piece when you think you're done. Kind of look around and say, "Oh, wait," and then you go, "What the hell is that? What's that?" And then you go, "Okay, we'll fix that." My crane looks a little bit flat, so I'm going to add a little bit more accent there.
Okay.
Okay, Bill, I'm going to turn my recording off. I'll keep people talking, but I think stop the recording.
Recording stopped.
Okay, now you can say anything you want. Drawing thing.
An ink pen.
Yeah, do that. That's great.
Then I can play with this.
Yeah. That's great.
Oh,
Not so much.
I love the color.
So you get your green. Make sure you have like
This is all muddy. This is too muddy for me.
You've got a nice edge right along here, but then here it kind of ragged. It doesn't look as clean. You
You
know,
know,
like,
that's
It's
hard
tough
for me
with
because
that.
I'm a blob paint.
I know.
I blob paint.